I'm Liz McNichol, one of the chairs of the DC Poor People's Campaign and a longtime resident of Washington, DC. I moved to DC 40 years ago, and like all DC residents, I have firsthand experience with being disenfranchised. Before I moved here, I lived in a number of states, and in every state, I had 2 senators and a representative who had a vote in Congress looking out for their state's interests, at least as they saw them. They didn't always do what I wanted, but I knew I could write or visit them or vote them out to have some influence on Congress. But now, as you know, despite living in the capital of the nation and paying federal taxes like everyone else, residents of the District of Columbia, like me, have never had voting members of Congress. And to make matters even worse, in my time living here, I've watched as Congress has overruled the will of the people of DC on everything from gun regulations to healthcare to the minimum wage. It's just wrong that members of Congress from Utah, Kentucky, or anywhere else can meddle in our local affairs. I know that the bills being considered today would not make DC a state, but they would set the country on a path towards a true democracy that must inevitably lead to statehood for the people of DC. I stand with my Poor People's Campaign family in states across the country in support of the Freedom to Vote Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. And I look forward to the day that the voices of all the people of the United States count equally without regard to income, race, ethnicity, or how well connected you are. Thank you. Forward together, not one step back.
We welcome you to the launch of the Mass Poor People's Low Wage Assembly and Moral March on Washington, D.C., June 18, 2022.
And we need to do it with the biggest actions possible.
Because we know the only scarcity is the moral will to do what's right.
Veterans across this nation say enough is enough.
My voice is just as valuable as anyone else's.
We need the third Reconstruction.
We have an immoral system run by immoral people.
But together we fight.
And we become an agent of change.
We're rising up to demonstrate the compelling power that we, poor and low-income people, have to reconstruct society from the bottom up.
It's time for a change!
We are people of resilience.